Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Obviously, today the haunting event went live in Warzone and Cold War, by far one of the most anticipated events of the year. And something it brings with it is what you guys see going on in the background right now, the LAPA SMG. This is actually the very last ranged DLC weapon that we're gonna get for Cold War and for this year of Warzone. Obviously, Vanguard is less than a couple of weeks away from launching. At this point, November 5th is literally right around the corner. So this is like the final main DLC weapon for the season outside of the hammer and the sickle. And today I wanted to break down the quickest and the easiest way to actually go ahead and unlock this SMG, then also the best loadout for it in Warzone, because it does have a few specific and unique attachments on it. So as we go through it all, if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it. Seriously would be appreciated. And of course, if you are new to the channel or if you haven't already subscribed, we are on the road to 800K. And every single day, I'm always covering everything going on in COD, news, updates, intel, loadouts, tips. It's all right here. So feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. So real quick, let's break down all these challenges. Personally, I think the easiest and the quickest way to unlock this SMG is by going into Cold War and doing the challenges there. In Warzone, they're not the most tedious of challenges, but they are going to be a little bit more time consuming. Playing 5 matches of the Ghost of Verdansk, if you're making it to end game, that's pretty time consuming. That's like, a couple hours of gameplay when it comes down to it, depending on how long the matches go, 15 to 20 minutes. You're looking at almost 2 hours of gameplay there. Earn a top 10 placement 3 different times in Ghost of Verdansk. Again, you're going to in-game. Those are longer lasting matches. Eliminate 10 ghosts in Ghost of Verdansk. That's not too hard. That'll be pretty easy. Same deal with eliminating 10 other humans. Like within 5 matches, you'll be able to get that done pretty quickly. Eliminate 5 enemy humans while playing as a ghost, though, can be a bit more tedious just because you have to use your melees in that. As a ghost, redeploy your operator by collecting 3 souls. That's pretty simple and straightforward. Use 3 sacred ground locations. Pretty straightforward, but you got to find them and actually be able to reduce your meter there. Answer 3 phones. Pretty easy, but you got to get lucky to find a phone. Superstore is a pretty good place for those. I found quite a few of those. We're just watching the streams and watching other people play that, so it seemed like that was a pretty common place. Then experience 3 hallucinations. You got to wait for your fear meter to go full in that, so it's just a little bit more time consuming there. Cold War is very straightforward and very easy. Obviously, although not everyone has this, has Cold War multiplayer, obviously, but playing complete 5 matches. If you're playing like Infected, those are super quick matches. You'll have to do that for one of the challenges. Even like some of the Nuketown modes, very simple, very straightforward. 5 matches won't take you long at all. 200 elims on Nuketown Halloween 24/7 is incredibly easy. That's like, 6 or 7 matches, gets this challenge done and gets some other challenges done too. Like that's very straightforward, especially if you're a good player. If it's Dom or Hardpoint, you can get like 40, 50 kills a match. So pretty easy there as well. Finish top 3 in Scream Deathmatch or exfil in Hallows Eve Outbreak. I just played this match. This was my final one. Really, you just got to find a good hiding place or constantly be running around so that the killers can't really catch up to you. Use your movement, use your slides, jump over things, mantle things. All the killers can do is use their lunge and their tomahawk. So if you can outmaneuver them, you'll be able to get plenty of points in that, and it'll be pretty easy to finish top 3. Get 30 elims in Infected. Super easy if you can make it to late game in Infected and there's like, 10 enemies infected that are all charging you. That takes like 2 or 3 games max, I would say, for most players, if you can get lucky and not get infected first. Get 10 melee weapon kills. Super simple. Play Halloween Nuketown and run around with any sort of melee. Bait the hard points, bait the domination flags. Pretty easy there. Open 5 scare packages. It's actually just 1 scare package in Cold War multiplayer. It's a typo here in Warzone, but literally just play Nuketown, use the care package score streak, and eventually you'll get a scare package. They're just random care packages that you throw in. It took me, I think, 3 or 4 tries. So within your 5 matches of Nuketown, you'll probably be able to get one. So again, very easy, minimal effort there. Get 50 eliminations while using Ghost. You'll get that done if you do the 200 elims one and just use Ghost as one of your perks. Get 3 multiplayer kills without dying 3 times. 3 kill streaks, very simple. Then get 5 multiplayer kills with fire damage. Run Molotovs, run the flamethrower. In between those 2, you'll be able to get that also very easily. So quick couple of tips for unlocking this either in Warzone or Cold War. Like I said, though, I personally think that Cold War is the way to go. It just was way less effort, and I would say like less time too. Like it's only 2 hours after the update and I've got it unlocked and good to go. Now, as for the LAPA itself, I do have the blueprint because it does have some useful attachments on it, but obviously I got the base weapon as well. And when it comes to kitting this out, I've got it leveled up about halfway, but Cold War setups are so straightforward and so basic that you don't really need to know what every single attachment does, because every setup, especially for SMGs, is nearly copy and paste. Now, there is one thing I want to point out here, and that is the iron sights. On this end, the blueprint, the base weapon and the blueprint, they are not ideal for an SMG. They're very bulky. They block a lot of your screen. Like, I'm just not a fan of that. And unfortunately, for me at least, I got to use an optic here. I'm going Microflex LED because it's just your basic red dot. perfect for close range fights and medium range fights because this does act as sort of a mid-tier SMG in the terms of using it as like sniper support, just with how it behaves. But the iron sights, like I said, are not ideal. Now, if you like them, awesome, because you get an extra attachment spot, but initially I do feel like microflex is sort of a must-have, at least for me personally. Now, obviously we're going for the agency suppressor. That's a no-brainer. We get that extra range, we stay off the mini-map, copy and paste on every single Cold War SMG. Now, when it comes to the barrels, you'll notice we do not have a task force barrel, which is what you should always be running on Cold War subs. We have the BR compact barrel though, which increases your damage, your aim walking movement speed, and your horizontal recoil control, but you miss out on fire rate, range, and vertical recoil control. Not it. Just not the barrel you want to be using. You don't want to lose out your range, and honestly, for a sub, the fire rate here really is not great to begin with, so losing out on that even more is just not it. Rifled ends up increasing your damage and your fire rate a little bit, but it also hurts your velocity and range. Even if you're using this in primarily close range fights, which you should be, losing out on those, again, not really it. Extended, not really a super beneficial barrel. Cavalry Lancer could be useful, but I just don't feel like you get enough pros out of that. Instead, you either want to go for the MO3 reinforced or the Ranger barrel. Ranger is pretty much acting like it does on every other weapon. Better range, better velocity, and reinforced is better fire rate and better range. Now, personally, I do think Ranger is the way to go. It's pretty much the alternative to Task Force on most Cold War weapons, so straightforward with that. Don't use the final barrel, even though that's what you usually do on Cold War subs. In this case, we are definitely going for Ranger. Now, close range fights, recoil is really not all that existent. The targets are so big, it's easy to stay on them and stay tracking. So you don't need an underbarrel here by any means, in my opinion, so we can forego that. You definitely want a magazine option. 40 actually comes with a blueprint, which is pretty sufficient. Like, you can definitely get away with using 40, but 50 is definitely going to be that sweet spot. Fast mags, as we know, are not it because that ADS slowdown, just not super useful, especially on subs where a fast ADS and everything matters. So standard 50 is what I think is going to be the most optimal here. However, 40 is the solid alternative if you don't have the 50 round unlocked yet. Then for the final attachment, you got a few different options. Personally, I think I'm going Tiger Team Spotlight just to increase that movement speed more. I like to fly and fry, as you guys know, and Tiger Team is a crucial part of most of my Cold War sub setups. Now, that said, you could also get away with using the Raider stock. This is another great alternative, especially if you like the iron sights. Drop the microflex and run Raider stock, and you got the golden copy and paste Cold War sub setup, right? But if you're not really too keen on the increased movement speed from Tiger Team, Raider stock definitely works. Or if you want to try something like the Serpent Wrap and get a faster ADS, you could definitely go for that instead of any of these on here. But specifically for my playstyle, for how I like weapons to feel, this is my go-to. Unfortunately, I hate wasting that optic attachment because I'd much rather have the Raider stock on here. But those iron sights, not a fan at all. If you use it in game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They're just too bulky. They take up too much screen space, and in my opinion, it makes it harder to track players, especially if they have good movement, if they're jump shotting, slide canceling, whatever it may be. So this is my go-to recommended setup here. As far as whether or not the LAPA is like the new best SMG, I would not say that by any means. I would say it's mid-tier, nothing to write home about. I do think it's curious that all the seasonal DLC weapons up until this point have been phenomenal, right? Like every single season, the new weapons are insanely good because they want you to get into the battle pass and get those tiers unlocked. This season though, since the last one, and they're really obviously pushing Vanguard, the weapons aren't very good. The Grav sucks. The Ironhide sucks. This is not the greatest SMG in the world. It doesn't suck, I would say. Like, I definitely think it's a mid-tier, like, viable SMG, but it's no MP5s. It's no OTS. It's just something you could use, but there are definitely some better options, both for sniper support and as an SMG. So that's going to be my recommended go-to setup here. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, let me know by dropping a like on it. It would be seriously appreciated. And of course, if you're new here or if you have not already subscribed, feel free to do so. That way you can always stay up to date with everything going on in COD. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy. Have an awesome rest of your day. And I will catch you guys later. Peace out.